Hi guys, it's me again. I know I told you that my next post was going to start with the beginning. Well, I feel compelled to share this with you tonight. I know a lot of people are struggling with why. How does our God allow the things that happen? I don't have the answer for that. I'll tell you what I have come to the conclusion of. It's a couple of things. One is an inconvenient truth, and that is that God allows bad things to happen sometimes. This is going to be hard to wrap your head around, especially if you've never been in anything to where you've been pushed beyond what you thought you could endure. People who have participated in sports or the military or law enforcement, anything like that, can kind of understand a little bit because they've had coaches or drill instructors or physical fitness instructors who have pushed them, made them go beyond what they thought they were capable of doing. I've said before in written post, one of the most amazing things that I've ever experienced was my PT instructor in the police academy. This dude was a beast. The things that he could physically do. But, I mean, if that's what you get paid to do, you better be able to do it right. So, at any rate, he told us constantly, his mantra was, you have no idea what you're capable of doing. And that stuck with me physically throughout the years. But this journey that I've been on over the last couple of years, well, actually for my life, but I'm starting to look at things a little differently now, spiritually and how it applies to the physical world. I am seeing it in the spiritual world as well. You truly have no idea what you're capable of enduring, what you can go through, what you can do. You know, God promises that He would never put anything on us that we could not endure. But if He does, He would make a way of escape. And He's never failed to do that. He's always been faithful and wonderful and amazing. That goes back to the inconvenient truth of why these bad things happen. Along about February, March of 2000, we learned that we were having a child. It was, as always, a wonderful blessing. Such amazing news that we were bringing our life into the world. You know, the pregnancy, nothing spectacular or amazing about it. October 6th, 2000, Nicholas Shane Hilburn was born. He came into the world, fiery, red-headed little guy. He's just amazing. I can't begin to tell you. If you're a parent, you know. If you're not, one day you will. Life was great. Beautiful baby boy. He's healthy. He's whole. He's strong. We were just living life. When I wasn't working, when I was home, sitting around the house, he'd always lay right beside me on the couch. I'd sit there on the end of the couch, and I'd lay him right there next to my leg. He'd make this little sound whenever he was taking his bottle. all children have these little idiosyncrasies that make them unique. And it's an indication probably of how they're going to be unique, no matter what size the family is, how many children they're going to be, boys, girls, whatever. But he had one of those. It was just happy. It was great and it was wonderful. I remember December 22nd, that same year, 2000, a mere 2.5 months later. Come home from work, average, ordinary, every day. Sit there on the couch. Had him right there beside me. We'd feed him, burp him, change his diaper. Come time for bed, and his older brother, as always, had to give his brother love, kiss him goodnight, give him hugs. It was awesome. I pretended like he's an airplane. I don't know if you've ever done that with your child before, but you hold him up and you kind of fly him around the room. The look on his face, just the smiles. At 2.5-month-old, people say babies don't smile. It's just gas or whatever. But he was happy. I was happy. We were all happy. It was the perfect night. It was complete. Life was wonderful. We went to bed, laid down, and slept peacefully throughout the night. And I woke up the next morning to a horrific scream. I immediately jumped out of bed, and I knew our son was gone. I tried to do CPR. We called 911. They came. Nothing we could do. Our son was gone. I close my eyes today, and I can remember every single detail of that morning in 4K reality. October, he will have turned 18 years old. And I've asked myself time and time again, why? I've come up with all kind of explanations, things that console me, kind of help me get through. The truth of the matter is that it's not a day goes by, not a birthday, not a Christmas, not anything that I don't wonder, what kind of man would he be today? What would his personality be like? What would he do? What would he like? So much that I wonder. It hurts. Even now, it hurts. It's easy. It would be if I didn't trust God so much to be angry, to hold a grudge, to scream and yell and just walk away. But I know He has a plan. I don't know what the plan is. It don't always make sense. I walk around a lot of times going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. I just know that He's got a plan. I take comfort in his words where he says, my ways are not your ways. My ways are higher than yours. And I will use the ways of the foolish to confound the ways of the wise. When Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and those who are called according to his purpose. I don't understand how that could possibly apply to the death of my son, other than I know that there are people out there who need to know that God cares and God loves. And I know when you go through something like that, it's easy to wonder, how could God allow such a thing to happen? Where is he? What kind of benevolent God would allow my child to be taken from me? I'm not going to go into all the things that I've told myself through the years. If you've experienced it, you know. You've told yourself the same things. If not, I hope you never find out. But I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, he is preparing us. You may not like this truth, but it is what it is. You don't have to believe me when I say what I say. This is simply how I have come to believe God works. And as we get to know each other better, or you get to know me better as I tell you more and more about what happens, you will come to realize that God lets a lot of bad stuff happen. But I have grown through every single one of them in a way that I hope and I pray will inspire you. I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't strong enough to endure this on their own. It doesn't matter if it's the loss of a child or divorce or loss of your identity because your career is over. There's so many things that make us question why. And so far I've experienced most of them. But he's been right there every step of the way, every moment. I didn't always lean on him. I didn't always go to him. A lot of the times, I had to take care of this myself. I'm the man. I'm supposed to do this. My family's depending on me. So I did what I thought was right at the time. But I've come to realize that God has brought me through so much more than I knew at the time. He was there in ways that I can't explain. I can't put my finger on it. But I know he was there. Maybe it's in the peace that I felt when I finally just stopped and cried out to him. When the comfort, when I'm sitting there in the dark at the end of the day trying to figure out how I'm going to go on. What am I supposed to do from here? So many questions that doesn't make sense in the physical world. But our goal is not simply to be successful or to always get it right. Our goal is the afterlife. Not just ours, but those around us. And this is where that inconvenient truth comes in, and that a truly believe that sometimes God allows people that he knows he can help through to gain the strength to be able to endure this. He allows them to go through such a thing. I'm not saying that he took my son just so he could teach me a lesson. So don't start thinking that. But I think he allows people to endure things because he knows that they will find strength that will be able to encourage others who wouldn't otherwise be able to gain that strength without us. Again, inconvenient truth. It's not pretty. We can't wrap our physical brains around it. But it is what it is. You don't have to like it. But I highly encourage you to pray on this thought and to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this trial that I'm going through? Because that's what we tend to forget. We know there's a trial. There's no question about that. And we find ourselves wondering if God is going to do anything in it. What am I supposed to do? Am I going to make it through this? What we don't ask 98% of the time is, what are you going to do through this to further the kingdom of God? How are you going to manifest yourself, not only to bless me, but to bless those around me? How? What you got next? I mean, how are you going to do this? I know it's something. I know you got a plan. What are you going to do? But we can't stop thinking about us and the tragedies and the hardships long enough to ask ourselves, God, what you got? Tell him, do your thing. Just get out of the way of him. He's just waiting on the opportunity for you to surrender. Even in the pain or the hardships or the difficulties, he has a plan. No, it's not all going to make sense now. It may not make sense this side of the grave, but I promise you that one day, you're going to understand it all. And when you do, it's going to make perfect sense. So I ask tonight that you stop, you reconsider everything that you're going through. You surrender to him. You ask him, Lord, let your will be done. Show me what you're going to do. And then get out of his way. Sometimes the surrender is the victory. I know this is it's a lot different than what you're used to hearing. I pray that God does a mighty work in each and every one of your lives. He touch you and he bless you and he move in you, no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter what it is that you're facing. Remember, he is the same God today as he was in all of those children's stories that you were told. And so much more, because there's so much more of his inspiration in the Word that is left untapped because you don't open the Bible. Read his Word, seek his face, learn his ways. No, they're not all going to make sense, but they're all going to be glorious when the time is right. Trust him, follow him, and obey him. I love you all. I pray that God blesses you and moves in your life in mighty ways. God bless.